Howdy y'all, and welcome back. Today we're bringing you Cardigans of the Wild West, sweaters worn by all walks of life, not just cowboys and outlaws. Now, while we're working on the next video about Billy the Kid shirt color, I figured that, well, I have enough information on cardigans that I've researched and gathered to make it into a small micro-series video in the meantime, so hopefully you enjoy. To get started, cardigans in the Wild West buttoned up quite high on the torso, just like how a sack coat would. They were commonly knitted, and they came in various colors with various decorations. Those with decorations often had them on the cardigan's placket, which is another word for the strip of fabric where the buttons and the buttonholes go. For the sake of the video, however, it'll also be referring to the strip of fabric that wraps around the back of the neck, as a lot of the decorations on the placket also apply there as well. Cardigans back then were also called cardigan jackets rather than sweaters, as historically it's believed that the term cardigan originally referred to a knitted vest rather than a full jacket-style sweater. As a short preface, I've organized the colors that these cardigans were advertised in chronological order, compiling what I've found from the Library of Congress, its Chronicling America newspaper series. We can start at 1872 all the way down to 1895, which you can use as a reference guide when coloring your character's cardigan. For 1872, this knitting guide describes the type of wool to use as brown. And a year later, colors such as brown, chinchilla, and other mixed colors were documented as being marketed. It's hard to tell what the color would be just by the name of chinchilla, so if you have any idea, please let me know in the comments. A second description in 1873 reveals a man who wore a maroon cardigan. The color maroon goes by a lot of names I've come to learn when describing these cardigans, and we'll go over that once they begin to show up, but just keep that in mind. In 1876, a man is described wearing a brown cardigan jacket with red and white stripes. This most likely refers to the placket decoration often featured on these sweaters, and we'll go over that momentarily as well. A newspaper in 1877 offers cardigan jackets in seal, brown, navy blue, and black. A quick Google search reveals that seal most likely refers to seal brown, which looks fairly close to maroon. I want to assume that wine also means maroon in some aspect. An 1878 newspaper markets them in gray and brown, but in 1882, colors such as brown, black, green, and wine are seen marketed. In 1883, you have colors such as garnet, livery, and cadet blue that begin to show up in newspapers. I want to assume that a garnet refers to a dark red once more, and cadet blue kind of being obvious, but I'm not sure what livery entails as a color, if it even is one. And for the last 5 years I'm going to go over, 1884 to 1887 remained relatively the same, offering no distinctly new colorways until 1889, where the colors myrtle and coachman's drab came into play. Myrtle most likely being a darker green, and coachman's drab I feel could insinuate a darker, almost grayish color. 1890 describes a white cardigan with brown trimmings, and an 1895 catalog lists them mainly in black or brown. Alright, I digress. For the actual photos, I'm going to separate them into 3 categories. To begin on the first variation of an Old West cardigan jacket, we have number 1, which is no stripes. These are going to be the simplest examples out of the 3. They're mainly plain knit, with little to no decorative stripes on the placket or cuffs. We have a couple examples from 1885 showing both a studio portrait and a ranch hand wearing one. What I find interesting about these photos is that they both take place in 1885 allegedly, and both of the cardigans that these men are wearing are tailored rather close to the body, or they fit rather close to the body. And I only bring this up because this is in stark contrast to the other photos we're going to look at, where the cardigans look to be rather loose and a lot thicker. Now for number 2, this is going to be the semi-stripe. This is where things start to get a little more decorative, with these coats sporting 1 to 3 horizontal stripes on the placket and or the cuffs. These are the most common you tend to see in these Old West photographs of men wearing cardigans, and they seem to be quite popular during the 1870s. Throughout the entire duration of the 1870s, they look to be extremely popular. Another fun thing is that Billy the Kid himself falls into this category, as his well-known photo shows a cardigan bearing a single stripe around the coat's placket and neck. Now, knowing his photo was taken around 1879 to 1880, his cardigan could most likely be a form of brown, black, or gray, with what I would assume to be a white stripe. For the others, the same applies. For those with multiple stripes, red and white was documented in that 1876 description I shared, so this would be a safe bet. For the man in the white cardigan, however, it could either be brown based on what we found before, or it could be red, or it could be something completely different. Both are appropriate, it's just hard to tell. But I digress. The one of the man sitting atop a train is from 1869, and it shows his cardigan in a dark color with what looks to be circle-like patterning in a lighter color, and stripes on both the placket and cuffs. I would say that with the other people before, the same color palette applies. Black or brown with white or red stripes. Now, this is the only photo I have of this kind of cardigan being out there, so if anyone else has any more photos I might have missed, please reach out to me either in the comments or in our server linked in the description. But anyways, last but not least would be number 3. I like to call them the full stripes. These are the boldest and much more rare to see in photographs, as I only really have 2 photos to show you guys, which would be these. One of them depicts what is allegedly Billy the Kid and the Regulators around, I believe 1879, could be earlier, or I could just be wrong altogether. The other one is a soldier, a US Army soldier, I believe a cavalryman, taken around 1886. These cardigans look to have multiple vertical stripes wrapping around the entire torso and the tops of the shoulders, with one more small stripe on the cuffs as well. Despite my efforts, no discernible color for these cardigans could be found marketed in magazines or catalogs of the time. Due to the darkness of the fabric and the considerable amount of time between both photos, possible color choices for these sweaters could range from dark brown or black to navy blue or maroon, and the stripes, I guess, would be white as well. The Wild West cardigan is one of those articles of clothing that seem to be quite elusive when really trying to capture the entirety of their designs and colorways, but the available evidence we have now still remains extremely cool. Hopefully now you'll have more knowledge on the subject leaving than you had when you clicked into the video. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one, the real color of Billy the Kid shirt. I'm William B. Carter, and you're watching Fashions of the American West. Take care, and goodbye.